is very hardworking. Her stories, when she writes with such honesty, empathy, and even depth. But with the release of this book, she's now an author, something new. But I think she takes us into stories of her own personal journey, through the pain that she's gone through, the healing process that she's been, and the hope that she has for the future as well. So this book just must be very personal to her, and it already is a success, I believe, because prior to the release, the first batch of prints of this book has been sold out. So can we please give her a huge round of applause? And the real book, selling it out prior to the release, I think that's a very positive sign and a blessing to her. The Light After the Storm, for those of us who got a copy of this book, we might agree that this is not just a book. It speaks of strength after loss and love that endures, especially of a mother's love for her son, to whom this book is dedicated. And we're all blessed to have the little one around this evening as well. I think a very personal book, and this is a very small gathering of family and friends. And we are honored to have our Madam Afanga Insong, the Joint Director, Information and Public Relations, here with us this evening. She will also share her side of the story and make reflections on the book. And I'm looking forward to hear from you, ma'am, as well. Thank you very much for being here in our midst and for agreeing to do this launch with this very intimate gathering. I am sensing that we'll be getting emotional right from the start. So before the Rona, I know that happens now. To begin this very short ceremony on a very solemn note, I invite
to acknowledge your blessings that you have bestowed upon humanity. We glorify you through her writing. I pray that
I stand here today not just as the publisher of the much anticipated book, The Light After the Storm, but also as a fellow journalist and a friend of the author, Vibeituonuo Kuotsu. As most of you are aware, this book was earlier scheduled to be released on 30th September, but due to some unavoidable circumstances, we had to postpone it to today. But despite the change in the date, I am deeply encouraged to see that those of you who earlier agreed to be part of this book launch are still participating in the program today. As much as those of you who have come to celebrate with us the debut book of this strong, courageous, and resilient woman. It takes great courage to embrace the storm in one's life, and even greater courage to be able to overcome it. What makes me admire Vibi even more is the fact that she has transformed her life struggles and pieced them together in the form of stories for all of us to share in her journey of bravery. Having known her as a journalist, I shouldn't be surprised when she came to me with her manuscript, but I must admit that I was very pleasantly surprised when she approached me with this set of brilliant stories written against the backdrop of a culture and a life that is so familiar and yet so fascinating. For me, the 13 stories in the book, although unique in their own way, and of course some of the stories were fictionalized, they all read like a single story or a novella. All the stories seem to have a connection that reading the book makes it feel like you could draw some kind of connection between the stories. Maybe this is also because the stories in the book have this distinct familiarity of a world that we all know as Nagas. From the life of a broken marriage and relationships to stories of a mother's love and sacrifice, from stories of conflict to land that divides many Naga families. This book addresses many critical issues that we face in the society but are never really talked about. But above all, I would like to thank that this book is so much more than the problems that we have in life. It's about the life that's waiting for all of us, only if we are willing to see it. With these few words, thank you, Vibi, for sharing your beautiful stories with us. I am so proud of you as a friend, and as a publisher, it gives me immense joy to publish the work, The Light After the Storm, which also marks our 112th publication. This book has already done so well, as Medolenio has already mentioned, and in fact one of the reasons why we had to postpone this book launch, because we also ran out of the pre-release copies. I have full faith, hope and confidence that this book will positively impact readers, maybe even change the way we think or perceive Naga women and the complex situations that we are often compelled to be in. I am so excited for the readers who are yet to step into this wonderful world of stories contained in The Light After the Storm. So congratulations, Vibi, and I look forward to a very long association with you. Thank you.
And shoes on my feet, you gave me your love, Lord, and a fine family. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings on me. I don't have much money, they're not new. I don't have much money, but Lord, I have you.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. Your presence means a great deal to me. First of all, I give credit to the Lord Almighty for this success, and I thank my family and friends for their constant support. First, I'll be sharing a little essence of my book. The other day, when I went to visit Nana-san, they asked me if this book was a memoir, and I replied, not exactly. And I'm still thinking how to frame this book. My book, The Light After the Storm, is a work born from both imagination and raw emotions, blending fiction with a deeply personal truth. My deepest hope is that it becomes a key for people trapped in unhealthy relationship, showing them that breaking free is not wrong or a taboo, but an act of courage. I want everyone who reads this book to know that it is more than okay to choose yourself, even if it means being alone. This book is my plea to shatter the silence, especially to women in our society, to ensure that they can speak openly about broken marriages and relationships without shame. May it help break the barriers that silence the women in our society and the strength to find their voice and courage to move forward unafraid. Looking back to how I started writing, I started writing when I was in class 9, when my English teacher asked us to scribble our daily life into a rough book or a diary. I remember not having a diary, but I borrowed my dad's Government of Nagaland diary without his permission and started scribbling. I didn't know what I was writing back then. My interest started there and then it stopped again during my college days. My interest peaked again after a few years when I had a rendezvous with Estherine Curie. I was going through a lot. She called me for a coffee and she inspired me so much that I started scribbling again. She advised me to write anything that is on my mind, to keep writing, and eventually it will turn into something. And here we are today. Also, since Rita has asked me to read something from my book, which I was planning not to, I'll just read a paragraph or two. In our society, a single mother moving forward with her life is seen as a taboo, even as a sin. Meanwhile, her unfaithful partner is praised as a good guy who has moved on and now living happily. This injustice does not apply to me alone. Single mothers in general are treated as lesser, diminished. Still, I made a choice to step out of this regret of my past, to stop letting it define me. People often ask if I regret my marriage. My answer never wavers. It was a lesson, a painful one. I'm not proud of my divorce, but I refuse to wear it with a shame. And neither should any woman who has walked this path. Because love, when it finds you again, real love is all worth every scars. I don't know where the path leads, but I found my strength, and this fire within me will never fade. Sorry. While I'm grateful to everyone who is here, I would like to take this time to appreciate some of the person who has made the special occasion happened. I want to thank Rita for her support, for her love and appreciation for my book. Atole, she is a very good friend. She has designed this book and this illustration. She did not even take 5 minutes to come up with this picture. And I want to thank Mema Sang and Kriye, Pastor Kibi for coming here today.
This much I vow. I will never again retreat into that suffocating darkness where light cannot reach. I think this is so powerful, and I hope that you continue to find your light and radiate your light to your son, to your family, and to people around you. So we now come to the release of the book. As the author composes herself, take some time to relax, and maybe if you are ready, you can come up on stage, and I request our special guest, Madam Asang Langsong, Touring Director, IPR, to officially release the book, her debut book.
I don't know where to start with this. The air is so heavy and the smell is so strong. I don't know how to start this page. Congratulations, Vibeituonuo. I will come to you later because when she first came to our office requesting us to release the book, like Vibi said, I just asked her, like, is it something autobiographical? And she said no. So misahe so like so anyway, so that was the start of our conversation. But I was just telling her that the first time I saw this picture, I knew that the book will be about a lot of reflections that she must have gone through in life. And just like just saying the title itself, "The Light After the Storm," it is so much telling. It tells us that we already feel that there is hope after the storm, how terrible it might be, and so there is always something good waiting for us, and so goes to Vivi as well. Like I said, as I went through the book, chapter by chapter. It's such a beautiful read, so simply written in very simple English, and so beautifully laid that, as Vibeituonuo has said, or like Rita has said, I'll come back to the same point. It's so reflective, a very beautiful reflection. Like her writing is so reflective about herself, about motherhood, about love, about the strength of a woman, which she has already spoken about, and of course, tradition. In every chapter of this book, I have seen that she is very deeply rooted in tradition. Going through some lines or some chapters, I felt as if I really missed my childhood, my grandparents. Then those. It took me back to my childhood days, where we have those small little fears that every child has. The laughter in the house, with all our parents staying together in a big family. The small conversations that we have in the kitchen, smelling of wood, the smoky smell, so nostalgic, so nice, and so beautifully written by Vivi. And of course, when you open the windows or you just roam around in the neighborhood, those little neighborhood whispers that we are all accustomed to. But all these things have shaped us into what we are today. So the writer has managed to bring out, to express what we all experience, okay, as a woman. Not only as a woman, but I will just particularly as a woman. The strength, bringing out the strength of a woman and putting it into words, which we all feel as a mother, as a woman, but we don't have the courage to bring it out into paper, and which Vivi has done. And then again, like I said, in every chapter, when she's talking about the grandmother or the grandfather, the parents, uncles, and neighborhood aunties and all that, you already feel the air that you're already living in this book. Bishi kushira itu kitab tu purishi de. Nijor he khore bohina window pligina, that cold air sniffing inside. I really enjoy it, and I'm sure this is a book that all of you will enjoy. And we thank Vivi for bringing this story into life, and so relatable. That is just one thing that I would want to say. Since we have spoken so much about these stories that are there, and which you will also, I want you to experience, I will not say much, I want you to experience after going through the pages, and live it for yourself, not be what Vivi has expressed in so simple and so beautiful words. Okay? One thing again, it's a privilege for me to be here again today, because again this is a pen trail publication. So I just want to speak one or two lines about a pen trail publication and Rita. Thank you, Rita, for being you. As a young woman and as a prolific writer herself, Rita has gone into a field which I think many of us wasn't dare to go in this modern age. I mean, like, who is reading books, for example? So, but Rita has done it. Her beautiful, we have not only read her beautiful books, but she's also instrumental in bringing out new writers to the forefront, and has unhesitatingly giving importance to our local writers. So thank you, Rita, that today is another beautiful occasion and milestone for you, for your publication house also, being the 112th publication. We always thought that we will meet in all these book gatherings, and she keeps inviting us also, but we have not really, we have not really been able to catch up, but I'm so thankful today that I could be here in front of all of you, and for Rita, for Vivi, such a wonderful occasion. And Rita, you have consistently nurtured local voices. That's what I want to say. And it will be a privilege for me. I've already eyed that some books are up on sale. Because we never get the time to really, have meet each other or the bookshops or whatever. So this is a very auspicious and a solemn time where so nostalgic, so nice, and we'll have beautiful slow moments going through our books as well after this program is over. And one thing about our Naga society is that our stories have always been our strength, and our stories have been carried in the songs that we sing, in all the fireside conversations that we have in the evenings, and in books like this, that our stories have come alive. So today, we're not only celebrating this book by Vibeituonuo, but we're also celebrating the importance of keeping our narrative alive. So thank you, Bibi, and thank you, Rita, for bringing such stories to life. And I also hope that, I'm very sure that more such wonderful books will come out in future with better stories, and then we'll get to see more writers again, our local writers with local stories, and also more from VB as well. And I would also want to thank that Kekre, you sang so well. Even your voice is so matching to this, the entire atmosphere. I felt like I was sitting at home with my father and grandfather and all in the kitchen. I also grew up in Kasama, born and brought up, so I have that smell of the village is always with me, and I'm so grateful today that I got to experience that again after so many years. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you once again.
Thank you for doing the honors here and for sharing your wisdom with us today. I think the concluding remarks were supposed to be given by me, but I felt like Narmat Asam has done it. She's beautifully wrapped up what this occasion is about. I think it's a gathering of how Rita is promoting local writers, keeping our culture, our stories alive. How new writers like Bibi are getting platforms through such publications to also voice and share to the world what her story means. And this gathering has brought together such wonderful people. Our pastor, thank you for being here. Ikriya, once again, thank you for serenading us. Like Ma'am said, truly, although you are not physically as big, your voice was really big. The weight was really heavy, and it's going to be there for a very long time in our hearts. So we wish you the very best also. And this book, we've heard from the author, we've heard from the publisher, we've heard from our special guest here today. It is something that is very personal. I would say it is a piece of Bibi's heart, and this heart is now in its physical form. There are stories, some of it that it's not just sad stories, okay? Like for those of you who haven't read, there are like very funny stories. One is the case of a mistaken identity, a journalist's most embarrassing and funniest mix-up. This is also something funny. It's hilarious, not funny I would say, but she adds some bits of humor. You can feel the pain. Like my Mustang said, you can just feel it. Last night I was there at Bibi's home for dinner, and then for a moment I had the chance to carry her son out on the balcony. My friend Aiko was also there. So we were just carrying Sede, and then he was pointing to the other side of the house that was just next to your house. So we looked and we saw the neighbors there. So I think the first chapter, the eavesdroppers of the village, not relatable to this incident, but it talks about a culture, the setting that we come from. So this book is very relatable, and like I said earlier, this is a piece of Bibi's heart, and this physical form of her heart is now available to readers. We have copies of the book outside. Maybe if you would like to get signed copies of the book, the author will be available here. And lastly, once again, thank you everyone, family and friends of Bibi, for coming over to this book release. I think we've had a very successful release. Congratulations to Bibi on your first book release, and also to Rita on your 112th publication. So thank you everyone for joining us for this occasion.